Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys Dak Prescott sounds off on difficult Ezekiel Elliott drama. As the 2024 season continues to circle the drain for the Dallas Cowboys, the status of running back Ezekiel Elliott has morphed into a mostly feudal subplot for this team, an interesting off-field drama that has little to do with how the team is playing on the field. Elliott was not with the team on Sunday for the Cowboys' Week 9 game against the Falcons, another loss, this time by a count of 27-21. He was kept away from the group as a suspension for what coach Mike McCarthy termed, clearly a team discipline situation. All of which put Cowboys star quarterback Dak Prescott in a difficult position. Prescott, who injured his hamstring in the loss to Atlanta and will miss several games, is a team leader on one hand and needs to support the discipline of the group. On the other hand, he is a close, longtime friend of Elliott. Definitely a difficult situation for me, personally, Prescott said, via the Dallas Morning News. Being as close as I am with him, wanted to help. Obviously, this is a mutual decision for him not to take this trip. I should say just getting himself together. And I'd like to see us rally around him, be the teammates and the brothers that we are. Good will come from it. Ezekiel Elliott absence open door for Rico Dowdle. It's hard to see what good will come out of Elliott's absence. He has tallied just 149 yards on 48 carries in 7 games this season, a career-low 3.1 yards per rushing attempt. If anything, not having him on the field spurred the Cowboys to the best day of the season running the ball, as they tallied 137 rushing yards, just the third time this year they've gone over 100 yards on the ground. Running back Rico Dowdle ran for 75 yards on 12 carries, and added 32 receiving yards on 5 catches, with a very dramatic touchdown catch mixed in. Very few Cowboys have upped their stock over the course of this miserable year, but Dowdle is among them. Cowboys get mixed Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb injury updates. While Dallas Cowboys star linebacker Micah Parsons is eyeing his return in Week 10, there's more concern about wide receiver CeeDee Lamb after suffering a shoulder injury in their loss to the Atlanta Falcons. Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy said Micah Parsons will go through a limited practice for the first time since suffering a high left ankle sprain. He said Parsons will be on rep count in practice. CeeDee Lamb, shoulder, will not do much on the field today, but he has taken the snaps in the walkthrough, ESPN reporter Todd Archer shared on X. The news comes as a bit of a mix to Dallas fans, as they endured Dak Prescott injuring his hamstring in the loss. He is set to miss multiple weeks. The return of Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb will do wonders for the Cowboys. Parsons and Lamb playing in Week 10 can do wonders for an underwhelming Cowboys team. For starters, a 3-5 record has them in third place in the NFC East. It also prevents them from obtaining a wild card spot. One of the main reasons has been their defense. Currently, they're the second to worst defense in the league, allowing 28.1 points per game. Also, the offense has been stagnant, producing 21.4 points per game. While a lack of a running game doesn't help, Lamb's been the byproduct of such things. He has 53 receptions for 660 yards and 4 touchdowns. The numbers aren't bad by any means, but teams are putting more pressure on Lamb to win the game. For instance, he'll be pressed by a cornerback and have either a safety or linebacker waiting for him. Also, Dallas has had to play from behind numerous times this season. As a result, it's forced the Cowboys to throw consistently every drive. Regardless, Lamb's absence adds to a laundry list of injuries. Since he's the number one option, it's hard to see who will take his place if he's ruled out. For Parsons, his return could inject life into the Cowboys' defense that was dominant in Week 1. Cowboys insider doubts Jerry Jones' Trey Lance prediction. The Dallas Cowboys season was already a sinking ship at Atlanta, and when Dak Prescott was forced out of the game with a hamstring injury, the fork was officially put into Jerry Jones' team. They're done. While that might be heavy-handed, given they are only 3-5, the Cowboys are the furthest thing from a playoff team, and coupled with the blow-it-up concept, there wasn't, as expected, heavy investment before the trade deadline. However, Jonathan Mingo could develop into a nice role player. So, with Prescott out for at least a month and Dallas' season flatlining, it will be up to Cooper Rush to captain the sinking ship despite fans wanting Trey Lance. Jerry Jones stated on 105.3 The Fan that Lance could offer punch for the offense, and while Mike McCarthy stated Rush will start and Lance be his number 2, CowboysCountry.com's own Mike Fisher thinks Lance should see the field at some point in games. And when, if he does, offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer knows Trey has McCarthy's system figured out. In training camp, you're seeing Trey begin to get better. The footwork stuff, the decisions. I think if you asked him where he was in terms of understanding or mastering our system today, he'd probably say he's closer to an 8 or a 9, whereas when we first got him he was probably more middle of the road, Schottenheimer said. The Cowboys have a delicate balancing act to play now. With the season for all intents and purposes done, who should McCarthy ride with? Rush, who is a known commodity and can execute the offense but has limitations, or should it be Lance, who did show signs of progression in preseason, is still a little raw, but offers the dual-threat ability and arm talent that Rush doesn't? Fish stated that Lance could inject some fun into this funeral, and no one can deny that with Lance starting, the Cowboys, despite being a very bad team, would be far more watchable than with Rush. At the same time, the insider wonders if Jerry is exaggerating about a real Lance plan. I endorse the idea of using him in a Taysom Hill-type role, Fish said. But this is one of the NFL's worst and least electric offenses. If Trey Lance had the punch to fix that, in whatever capacity, why are they waiting until the 9th game to utilize that? Cowboys Nation is quickly losing interest in the 2024 season, but giving Lance the keys for what could be the rest of the season will at least make Dallas worth watching, for better or worse.